Welcome back, and you're watching the special broadcast here on Republic TV. There was a big announcement by the government earlier today. The finance minister announced that excise duty was being cut, and it's a big one. Excise duty on petrol has been cut by 8 rupees per litre, will translate to about 9.5. That's how cheap petrol will now cost across India. If states decide to cut prices further, there will be a further relief for the Aam Aadmi. Let me go across and introduce our panel this evening. Joining us on the broadcast, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, national spokesperson of the BJP, Manish Bariyar, leader of the JDU, PK Basu, economist, and author Asia Reborn will be joining us anytime now. Abbas Haider, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Vikraman, spokesman of VCK, a DMK ally, and Ashutosh Mishra, senior journalist. Let me start by asking Vikraman first. Vikraman can come in with Gopal Krishna Agarwal. Vikraman, will states now follow? When is Tamil Nadu going to cut prices further? Kerala has just cut the prices. I had some breaking news updates coming in from Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram. Our reporter has just confirmed that Kerala has announced cut in state tax on petrol by 2 rupees 41 paise, diesel by 1 rupee 36. That's in addition to what the centre has done. Vikraman, responding to the BJP.
Yeah, let's wait and see. Just now the central government has done this. Let's wait and see. Kerala has done the rate cut now. Let's wait for the government to do it. Let it take its course. But also, we'll have to see this price cut or the rate cut. We'll have to attribute this to the upcoming elections. It is all a jumla. The Gujarat elections are underway, and even in lot many states, the BJP is in the verge of losing it because of the people's agitation, people's anger towards the government. It is growing day by day because, domestic cylinder prices have come above 1,000 rupees. We can't even imagine this. And they promised us subsidy, and nobody is getting subsidy now. In Tamil Nadu, nobody is getting subsidy, the LPG subsidy. Everybody is paying from their own pocket. So it is having a big toll on the middle class people. And they are so much aggravated, and they are aggrieved, and people are ready to show their anger. Mm-hmm. So the government has sensed it, and they have taken this decision. That's how we'll have to see.
There's a 200 rupee subsidy.
State government to take.
Just FYI, there's a 200 rupee subsidy on gas cylinders, and just FYI, you spoke about subsidies. There's a fertilizer additional subsidy of 1,10,000 crore on fertilizers. So far, the subsidy was 1,05,000 crore.
200 rupees is a rate cut. 200 rupees is a rate cut on LPG cylinders.
Subsidy.
And subsidy, what I'm talking about?
Subsidy. It's not a rate cut, it's a subsidy. The government is going to bear the cost.
Additional
it's a subsidy.
To 9 crore.
You can't have just a 200 rupees
and it is
subsidy. You'll have to bear the 50% subsidy. On LPG,
it is on that,
domestic gas
anybody
cylinders,
using up to 12
50% subsidy. That was what you promised before. Because you were telling us 50% money will be put in your bank accounts. What happened to that promise? Why only 200 rupees when the price of the LPG is more than 1,000 rupees? It has to be 500 rupees. Why is the government cheating us?
We have to understand that in this federal structure, everything is that the state government and opposition leader want to question the central government. But what is their role? What is their responsibility? Are they completely without any responsibility in this federal structure in the government? So
why are you talking about federalism now?
Many of the states,
you were all unitary. You wanted one nation, one language, one nation, one tax, one nation, one law, and one nation, one prime minister. What is this? You wanted everything as one unitary, and now why you're talking about the federal
Vikraman, I'll tell you why, Vikraman. And you can respond to the BJP. Let me also get in PK Basu, right?
No, first I have not yet spoken.
Sir, go ahead. You go ahead, but I just wanted to make a point. Can I make one small point to Vikraman, because he spoke about, he said one nation, one tax, one nation, one language, and he went on.
So, Vikraman is completely
one small
confused.
Small point, Mr. Agarwal. Small point.
Vikraman is completely confused.
No. I just want to make one small point. I want to make one small point, and I'm handing it to you.
I'm making it. Just hold on. I'm making it. It is under the GST. That one nation, one tax, one country is there. It is not in the petrol and diesel and excise. The question currently is
I was
on
talking
excise
about
duty
one
cut
nation
on the
theory
petrol,
because you were
diesel,
suddenly
and the
bringing
subsidy
in
on the
federal
LPG.
theory.
Center
You
has
never
done
did
its
federalism
duty.
of
No, this is not a federalism
Supreme
debate.
Court has to intervene every
Sir,
single
this is not a federalism
Even in the GST
debate.
case also Supreme Court has reminded you
Not a
what
federalism
the federal
debate,
structure
Vikraman.
of this government is.
Vikraman, this is not a federalism debate. I'll tell you, okay, let me break this debate down a little further, okay? I'm sitting in Mumbai, okay? I'm sitting in Mumbai. Here the price of petrol as of this minute is 120 rupees 51 paise, okay? Now, after the price cut, the excise duty cut, the petrol price will be 111 rupees, okay? Now, the price meanwhile in Noida, right? In Noida, as of this minute, is around 105. It will go down to 105 rupees, 105 will go down to 96, 95 or 96 around that much. And if UP government decides to further slash VAT, which I'm not sure they will, but it will still be below 100. But in a city like Mumbai, it is still above 110. You get my point? Because there are some states which are willing to go further. Yes.
Sir, with due respect, I get all your points.
Yeah,
I understand all that. But my question is, why only 200 rupees for LPG as a subsidy? What was your promise? It was 50% subsidy for LPG. That was what we were getting in the Congress government. That was what we were getting.
Let him speak, Vikraman. Vikraman, let him speak.
LPG subsidy will be put in your bank accounts. Directly it will come to your bank accounts. That it is not coming to bank accounts.
Okay,
What
wait.
happened to it now? What happened to that theory now? Why are you announcing subsidy now?
No, 1 minute.
You should have reduced the excise duty on the VAT. VAT is ad valorem.
Sir, I am asking you one simple question.
In November
what is your name is my question, and you are answering what is my father's name. That is not I am asking you. I am
One second.
You.
Now we were talking about.
I am simply asking you why is this 200 rupees only price? I mean subsidy now on LPG.
We are giving free connection. We are giving free stoves to the.
No, that is a bogus thing. You come to the reality. Come to ground.
Okay,
one just shouting here.
Vikraman.
How can a poor woman who is earning only 1,000 rupees per month could
1 minute.
afford 1,000
No, I thought Vikraman.
LPG cylinder?
No, 1 minute. Vikraman, 1 minute.
90 crore of people are getting free rations from the central government. Ayushman Bharat is getting 5 lakh health insurance. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, more than 2.5 crore people
these
have got
public distribution system. Tamil Nadu is the front runner for the public distribution system. Sir, please do not take lessons on that to me. I know exactly what is a public distribution system and how the people are benefited out of it. What happened to your subsidy promise?
So are you saying 1 minute, Vikraman and Mr. Agarwal? Now wait.
What happened to that?
No, 1 minute. What was my question?
Sorry, why are you not answering on that?
What was my question and what is your answer? Vikraman and Mr. Agarwal. Mr. Agarwal, 1 minute. What was my question? What was my question to the DMK ally? My question was, for example, the price in Chennai right now as of this minute, and I want to bring in PK Basu, and I saw Ashutosh Mishra's hand going up there. PK Basu, my question was, in Chennai the price of petrol is 110 rupees 85 paise as of this minute. And it's going to be after
111 rupees, sir.
Yes.
111
yes,
rupees
I didn't.
And 80 paise.
Yes. Thank you. 111 rupees. Now it's going to be 102 rupees after this cut. Now, if you are large-hearted,
from the center. The cut is from the center.
Yes, center. Because of the center's cut. Now, if the Stalin government is large-hearted and does more, it is going to be below 100. Which is a fantastic gesture. Now, PK Basu, my question was on whether states should.
Kind information.
Yes.
Our government was the first government in the whole country to reduce the price of petrol by 3 rupees before anybody could even imagine. Even the
exactly
central
my point.
Could imagine. Union government could imagine.
No, exactly.
Central government had again done the same thing. We have reduced 5 and 10 rupees.
No, so far, let me tell you.
Also it was reduced.
No, my question, you see, everyone's jumping the gun. My question was, it's the second time that the center has intervened. Effectively, almost 15 rupees reduction has happened in the prices of petrol. Let me bring in Professor PK Basu. Professor PK Basu, you're the economist here. Why don't you tell us about what states can do and what this 10 rupee, almost a 10 rupee cut means for the common man?
For the common man, this is definitely a very positive step. And the reason why the central government has the capacity to do this now is because revenues have been very strong in the last fiscal year. So if you look at the budgeted revenue from corporate and personal income tax in the year FY23, it is actually lower than what was actually collected in FY22. So the FY22 corporate tax revenue was 7% higher than the budgeted amount for FY23. And similarly, the personal income tax number was about 4% higher than FY23. And therefore, that strength of direct tax revenues has created the room for the central government to now lower oil prices and the duties that they have. And of course, they've also offered a subsidy on LPG. All of this is possible because of the overall strength of revenue into the government. This is a prudent government. I think it is important for us to understand that if any government lives beyond its means, it has other consequences. It has greater inflationary consequences. It has the consequence of raising public debt levels, and that ultimately raises interest rates over the long term. Now, this government is being prudent. It is waiting for actual revenues to come in before it cuts the subsidy numbers, and
yes,
before it cuts the tax numbers, the excise duty, and increases the subsidy payments for LPG. So this is, I think, prudent policy, and in the long term, it's for the nation's good. Now, it's also important to understand that as an oil importing country, we are the biggest, the second biggest net oil importer in the world. So it is very important for us to induce a move away from fossil fuels towards renewables. And that is a long-term phenomenon that has been ongoing over the last 8 years.
Yeah.
India has made enormous progress. But right now, we are in an unusual situation given the war, Russia-Ukraine war, and given the fact that the Iran nuclear deal was not revived on time. All of these factors have contributed to keeping oil prices high, and now the government feels in a position to reduce the burden that the Indian consumer was feeling from that humongous increase in global oil prices. That's essentially what's happening here.
Yeah.
Now, the prudent fiscal policy has allowed the government to do more.
Ashutosh wanted to respond to you. Ashutosh.
So I think, first of all, Mr. Basu is totally out of touch with Indian reality. The Modi government had been raising prices after the state elections. And today, the amount of tax that they have cut brings it back to the level which it was there during the state elections. So this is a sleight of hand, nothing to do with large-heartedness. Mr. Modi had been pressuring states to lower VAT while himself raising revenues by first raising. So what he does is first raises the prices and then brings it down. Nobody gets fooled by that. And he is doing it for two reasons. First of all,
world prices have risen. Do you know that world prices of oil have more than doubled over the past year, and especially over the last 4 months.
has been telling India
that
India is friendly with Russia, and Russia has offered to sell. Russia has offered to sell oil at $35 per barrel, less than the market price.
Have risen around the world.
You doesn't know much.
You believe you live in a world. You think
propaganda is not.
You think Mr.
He's not ready to listen to the facts. He should listen to what Nirmala Sitharaman said. Go and read it first. Okay. And what the government here is doing, if you know, is that its Economic Advisory Council came out with a report that in India 25,000 rupees a month is what most of the people are living.
No,
and
just a little confused, Mr. Mishra.
Now the government fears of a political backlash.
Mr. Mishra, just a little confused. 1 second. No, Mr. Mishra, just a little confused. Just a little confused because until this morning we were looking at tweets. Most opposition leaders have been, tweeting figures, inflation figures, fuel price figures from across India. And I thought political parties, especially the opposition, would be relieved Because the common man is relieved. You know, wherever we are reporting from, people are saying this is a fantastic relief. This is a relief. This is a relief. You can't deny it's a relief.
I don't know. I am a common man.
Yes.
I am a common man, and
Yes.
I am telling you that government is fooling me. First it increased the price
The central government, RBI is also...
and now
Okay,
it
one
is
minute. Let me bring in Manish Waria.
Trouble of political trouble.
Let me bring in Manish Waria. 1 minute,
Hi,
Mr. Agarwal.
good evening.
Let me bring in Mr. Manish Waria.
And the 200 rupees subsidy is
No,
only
here
for
others
Kubala.
also. Two of our
Not
panelists
for
haven't
common
spoken.
man.
No, two of our panelists haven't spoken. Let me bring in Manish Baryar and Abbas Haider. Yes, Manish.
So, good evening to everyone, and good evening to all my fellow panelists also. I think, the price has been reduced and the whole country was waiting for it. I'm really surprised why, people who are opposing this move, because it's a huge relief. At least each one of us should welcome that we understand that price cut would also mean price cut in food prices, because petrol and diesel has a multiplier effect. So if the price comes down, I think it should be welcomed very much, and we should not fight on that at least, because all of us have the right kind of intention for the common people of India. And if the price comes down, each and every aspect of it is going to come down. Inflation is a very big problem in our country, whether it is food inflation or other aspects of it. And we all understand that inflation is a killer. So RBI made recently a move by increasing by 40 basis point interest rates. That was also in a way will cut price. And I think in the similar move, Finance Minister has rightly reduced the price because it's going to really help. Now, Government of India is in a very tight, it's making a tightrope walk. And I must admire our Finance Minister that given the kind of geopolitical situation Professor was talking earlier about, Ukraine war and food grains problems, and there are so many things. Recently, India had to, ban export of wheat. So I think all these steps we need to look at in totality. These are all things which government wants to reduce the price. And I'm sure this is the first wave of price reduction. And it's also a hint to state governments that they should also cut down the VAT. Because I was looking at the data of all the state governments, and state governments, Mr. Venkatraman was talking about it, but state governments earn huge amounts of money, both from the center, because center devolves some amount of money of its central excise tax, as well as from the VAT. So, it is, petrol is a necessity evil in our country, the price of it. We all understand that government needs money. So having said that, I think I welcome the move, and every right-minded individual will welcome the move, and maybe it will demand more from the government on this aspect.
Yeah, you mentioned the states, so I'll make a point and I'll ask Abbas Haider to respond. For example, Maharashtra, the state VAT percentage is 26%, okay? West Bengal, where price of petrol is as of this minute 115 rupees, VAT is 24%. Telangana, 120 rupees, state VAT is 35%. Kerala, 117, state VAT is 30%. They've just reduced it by a few rupees, makes a big difference. Jharkhand, price of petrol 108, VAT is almost 27.5%, and Tamil Nadu is 15%. Tamil Nadu has one of the lowest, VAT percentage. And this is what I was saying, Abbas Haider, why shouldn't opposition ruled states step forward as one, in the right spirit, reduce prices further? Because during the day, they tweet saying inflation, etc., and asking for fuel prices to be cut. It's been cut now, but nobody's welcoming it. Why?
If we talk about Delhi, rupees 10 has been increased in petrol prices in past 50 days. Now, there is a cut. I welcome the cut, but it's like if I put you in a 10 feet deep pit, and then I took you back 4 feet. So the situation is like this. Now, the thing is, the center has increased its excise revenue from fuel prices from 99,000 crore to 4,51,000 crore. And if you talk about center and state, the cumulative revenue of the state from petrol, taxes on fuel is much less than the center, which taxes center take from the petrol. Now, if we talk about data, the reality is, according to ICRA, center would have to forego revenue of 92,000 crore to restore pre-COVID petrol and diesel prices. Okay. Now the thing is, during the COVID times, if you talk about the April 2021 to December 2021, there were around 310,000 which was charged as an excise duty from the central government on fuel prices, which is much higher than the earlier government used to charge. When the can you hear me?
Go ahead. Mr. Agarwal wants to respond to you, but I'll let you make your point. Yeah, go ahead.
When the crude oil prices were $110 per barrel, we were getting petrol at 70 rupees. Now it is around $106 per barrel, and we are getting petrol for around 105 in Delhi or 120 in Mumbai. So why is this? This is the question. In just 7 years, Union government has got around 23 lakh crore out of fuel revenue. So these are the valid questions government should answer.
But isn't the centre also spending money? No, just layman's. I mean, PK Basu is the economist. The centre is spending. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the timeline. The timeline that you're mentioning, it was this much back then. I'm not sure.
During the past 8 years, crude oil prices were between $20 per barrel to $105 per barrel.
Were you? I don't know whether the governments back then were giving a free food grain scheme, free vaccine, free. I don't know what else. I think Mr. Agarwal wants to come in. Mr. Agarwal.
Nothing new in that.
Yeah.
Mr. Agarwal. Yeah.
Understand 2-3 things. One thing is the state governments are taking VAT on the fuel and petrol prices almost equal to the centre. And the centre has so many schemes for welfare of the people. As you mentioned, I was also saying food gain to the 90 crore people, vaccination free for the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. And centre has reduced twice the excise today and in November 21. But the states have not done that. And even from the centre's kitty also, the centre is transferring almost 42% to the state for their various schemes. So mostly all the expenditures are done by the centre. The centre is giving 42% to the state from its own kitty. All the welfare schemes are done by centre. All infrastructure spending is done by centre. Vaccination is being done by the centre. And the states are doing what? They are just shouting that do this, do this. But when it comes to them, they are not taking at all any steps. And the thing is important, and we have to look into the totality of things. It is not only the petrol, diesel that the centre has done. Just now it was mentioned that the wheat export was reduced to benefit the lower middle class. Then there was this base metal, steel, cement, all prices import duty has been reduced so that manufacturing sector cost of input comes down. The centre has also done in various
Ashutosh is responding to you. Ashutosh, yes.
Packages. So these all things are being done by the centre.
First of all, let's get the facts correct. The wheat exports were banned not for the poor. Narendra Modi tried to export wheat, burnish up his global image. It wasn't good for the poor. What he was trying to do was polish his global image, which is under attack. And because of Russia-Ukraine war, the West is facing problem. It was done for his own PR, not for welfare of India.
And he had 9 rupees per litre. Don't you agree? 9 rupees per litre. The benefit will go to the common man, to the poor,
No, I think
to the middle class.
I'm going across to PK Basu. PK Basu wants to make a point. PK Basu, this, I don't know why we're talking about wheat now.
What is happening here?
Please understand that India did not. India exported almost no wheat last year.
Yeah. Please. PK Basu has the facts on the wheat point. Yes.
Wheat in the world is Russia. The 5th biggest exporter of wheat in the world is Ukraine. India was not a wheat exporter. India is the world's largest rice exporter. India is not a wheat exporter. This is the first time that India was exporting wheat at all.
Money from private sector.
This is the first time in several years that India was not exporting any wheat at all. India has substantial stockpiles of excess food grain, including excess wheat. So there was a possibility of exporting that, but since we had unusually warm and dry weather in North India in the last 2 months, it was necessary to cut down on exports of wheat. But we helped the world. We helped the world for a couple of months, and now we are rolling back our wheat exports temporarily because there's a need to preserve our wheat. But in the past, India did not export wheat. For the last 4 or 5 years, there was hardly any export of wheat. This year, for 2 months, we exported wheat. We helped the world during a food
I'll give the last word to Vikraman.
Caused by the absence of the world's largest wheat
I'll give the last word to
exporter,
Vikraman.
Russia, and the 5th largest wheat exporter, Ukraine.
Yeah, I'll give the last word to Vikraman.
We also need to help
BK Basu.
ourselves. And
BK Basu, I have to end the debate, so I'll give the last word to Vikraman.
In the north.
Vikraman, do you agree? Vikraman, do you agree? Okay, just for a minute. No, just for a minute. Just for a minute, Vikraman, forget.
Anything on this?
1 minute.
Shouting at the top of his voice will not help.
Yeah, Vikraman wants to say.
I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. Sorry.
And help the poor. Vikraman, you have to now promise.
Vikraman responded. BJP is saying something to Vikraman, and Vikraman will respond.
And reduce the VAT for the benefit of the common man. Any amount you reduce will directly benefit the common man. Why you shying from this? Even if the state center has done
fine.
or not done.
I got your point. Now let me respond, please.
No, comparatively, Mr. Agarwal.
First of all,
Mr. Agarwal, comparatively.
You asked the question, let me respond. What is this?
Yeah. No, I wanted to say comparatively, Tamil Nadu has only 15% VAT.
Per liter for petrol. Let them reduce 20 rupees per liter. And also let them give 500 rupees subsidy for LPG. Then the states will decide on that. Why only the burden should be on states? You have increased 11 rupees and you have reduced only 8.5 rupees. That is not fair. That is not fair.
GST of only 5%.
You have increased 11 rupees after you are winning some elections in states.
On the bright side,
LPG.
Yeah, I have completely run out of time. Completely run out of time.
Now,
completely run out of time. Vikraman, completely run out of time. But look at the bright side, right? Chennai, 111 rupees. You have this great opportunity to bring it below the 100 mark. I mean, it comes down to anywhere 102 or 103, and you can take it below 100 if states do a little bit more. But I have to say that Tamil Nadu, among the opposition rule states, has the lowest VAT at about 15%. And I don't know how much more they can do, but other states like, for example, Maharashtra with over 30% can do more. 26% in Maharashtra, 35% VAT in Telangana, in Andhra it's 31%. Let's see what the states do. Thank you for joining us. Gopal Agarwal, Manish Bariyar, PK Basu, Abbas Haidar, Vikraman and Ashutosh Mishra. Thank you very much.